Hey apes, welcome to the first episode of the Ape City podcast. I'm Jack.
I'm Jameson.
And I'm Davey.
So we watched The Matrix. It's the first time I've seen it in, I want to say 12 years. So anytime I've talked about The Matrix I know Jameson, you and I have had conversations that I can vividly remember about it. I don't know that Dave and I have ever talked about it. Anytime I've been talking about The Matrix, it has been from a place of memory rather than actual watching it. And since then, a lot has happened to me. So it was a very different film when I watched it this time than when I watched it the first time.
Yeah, totally understandable.
And I think you were saying earlier, and you can cut it in because I was recording, that this was a childhood movie for you in the same way that Star Wars was a childhood movie for me.
Yes.
Just like in terms of importance, because you saw Star Wars when you were a
yeah.
kid too.
Well, and like I said, Star Wars was also a childhood film, just as much as The Matrix was, but this was like the very first R-rated movie I was allowed to see, and I was allowed to see it really young.
So that's very interesting because I have a completely different take on this movie than I did from when I watched it, and I was 16 at the time, the first time I saw it. And I saw the MTV version where he says, "Jeepers Creepers, is that thing real?"
Holy smokes!
Which is honestly the best.
I've always loved the line about Cypher saying I would have told Morpheus to shove the red pill right up his ear.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
That's
instead of up his ass.
Did not know about that.
God,
I would have told him to shove the red pill right up his ear.
That's crazy. I feel like that did not, on MTV, that did not need to be done.
No.
That's crazy.
Well, this kind of leads me into one of my deeper notes.
Okay.
That kind of has a deeper conversation tied to it. I never believed this movie was really worth an R rating in the first place.
Well, okay, interesting.
Having seen it now having seen it yesterday, there are some bits, like some thematic bits that I can be like, yeah, okay, I guess that kind of leads to an R rating, but from a raw like vulgarity, sexuality, violence perspective, I don't think the MPAA would have given this.
I think if it
I think they gave a shit in the 90s. If the MPAA of today were watching it, they wouldn't give a flying fuck.
Yeah.
The MPAA of the 90s had completely different.
Maybe it's worth a critical reappraisal in that way.
That's not something they do.
I don't know. It's like once you're
do.
older than 17, who gives a fuck about the MPAA rating of anything?
Hey, there you are.
True.
Anyway,
because all it is just preventing us from going to see it in the movie theaters.
Right, but then after that, it's like who cares? It's like it
can
be rated whatever. True. It doesn't affect my opinion of the film.
Yeah,
I don't care what an army of soccer moms thinks this movie is rated.
Yeah. But having seen some PG-13s with the like new standards of like you can say the F word twice, and like they can get pretty violent.
What is twice now?
Okay, now that is what I was going to say. Is definitely in if it came out today, it'd be PG-13 easily. The violence on display in this film, if you're not desensitized like all us Americans are, is profound and insane. Like there is so much violence.
So a lot of my brain goes to the, because we've all seen
we're American brained. Okay,
we're American brained.
We saw people wielding guns in school, so we're not that bothered by it when we see it on a screen.
Yeah.
So, but like from any other perspective, it's insane how much guns and violence there is.
I'm just thinking like after The Matrix, we've all seen like stylized like ultra violence.
Yes.
And The Matrix doesn't quite reach those.
No, it's not Pulp
peaks.
Fiction.
It's not Kick-Ass. It's not Pulp Fiction. It's not.
If there's a spectrum for R-rated movies, just in terms of violence, Pulp Fiction is on one end and Matrix is on the other.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Well, maybe not violence, but like vulgarity and like general to rate a movie R.
Yeah. Yeah, ultimately, if they had their hands on it now, they wouldn't give it an R rating, is basically my thought process.
So I think the reason why I didn't get so much into talking about, like, we mentioned themes and stuff, but it wasn't like a deep discussion. God, my fucking chair is so loud. Hang on, let me adjust and then I'll talk. Because I still kind of watch Star Wars with a childlike wonder because it is my childhood.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a whole lot to say on like the deeper analytical side. I just had like funny comments and all that stuff. The Matrix is not that kind of movie for me, so I was able to watch it more analytically as to like what are the themes, what is the messaging, and I will have more to bring to the table on that, I think, for this movie than the Star Wars films. Even though I do recognize what the Star Wars themes are and I appreciate them very much.
Well, we talk a lot about them.
They're internalized. We don't talk a lot about them. We mention
we
them.
talk.
We
mention them.
that there are themes. We don't really talk about what those themes are. And I think it's just because they're so internalized for me that it's like I don't feel like I have anything new to say about them. Even though that doesn't really matter when you're recording a podcast.
Yeah. Well, I think to be fair to Star Wars, the themes are a little bit more.
They're definitely more subtle than in this one.
Yeah.
Well, this movie is not
more subtle in a certain way, but yeah.
Sure.
This movie spells out This movie spells out all its Baudrillard and philosophies and stuff like that.
Well, let's get into it. This movie fundamentally is about the awakening of political consciousness.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that the world you live in is wrong and that we should be making strides to break free of it and make a better one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the problem with that theme is that everybody can use it to their own means.
Sure. Everyone except for capitalists, yes.
Well, they still have co-opted the red pill terminology, and they can still co-opt elements of this plot for themselves.
Well, okay, this gets into my big grievance. This is kind of skipping a lot to get to kind of my conclusion. Sci-fi is sometimes not the best medium for social commentary because there are so many ways to miss the forest for the trees with sci-fi.
Yeah. Yes.
So you have some people who who watch this film and they come away with the idea that it is like we did. It's about the awakening of political consciousness and realizing that capitalism has perverted and distorted all of us into these people we don't want to be. And how do we break free from that? And then also some people watch it and they think, oh, this is a cautionary tale about what could happen to our society in the future. Some people watch it and think, oh, this is a cautionary tale about what could happen if we let robots take control. And some people watch it and think, oh, cool. Let me buy a gun. Everyone is my enemy in society. Let me buy a gun and in Minecraft. So it's like this thing where, some people watch Star Wars and they don't think about any of it. They just think, oh, all these like space guns and ships and flying around shooting stuff.
They're not
It's
thinking about why
cool.
the Empire is evil.
Right. They don't think about So, you can internalize parts of the message, but then a wild misinterpretation will lead you on a completely different path and you'll miss what I think is the ultimate point. And that is when you kind of need to know who the filmmakers are to be able to draw the correct conclusion about what is being communicated.
Yeah.
And we know the Wachowski sisters are, if not fully leftists, they're definitely not. They're not capitalism true believers.
No, no, they're not for sure.
Certainly not that.
Yeah.
Given their oeuvre of films, there is not a single one of them that endorses capitalism in any way.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Now,
and
sorry,
most of them feature capitalists as the villain.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, knowing what we know about the Wachowski sisters now, there's a huge like under theme of self-transformation in the movie.
The trans allegory is
past
so
self in order to like become your full.
Yeah.
There's a huge.
I was fascinated by that through line.
Yeah, it was crazy to watch in 2026.
Let me let you in on like my first ever critical watch of The Matrix, which was right after both the Wachowskis had officially come out as trans.
Mm-hmm.
and people were starting to talk about the Matrix as a potential trans allegory. And so I watched it through that lens of shedding your old self, and it was just so obvious.
Right?
Yeah, it's insane.
This is what I'm
It's so
saying, is that this
obvious.
movie is not subtle. So like,
No.
Yeah.
the original draft, if you know this, I look up sometimes, like, you know, I look at the Wikipedia page for like production usually when we do this.
Yeah.
And I try to like find other little tidbits. Yeah, Switch was supposed to be a different gender within the Matrix and without the Matrix, which obviously would have been a huge, very literal nod to transitioning.
I think the funny thing about
dysphoria
that
in general.
Sorry, go on, because I think this is a much simpler.
Well, they
level on
all
this
have
take,
they
but-
all have hacker names, which
Well, yeah.
okay, first of all, let's just they're hackers, which is a famously very like, not hackers specifically, but you know, computer programming. There's a stereotype that is a very like trans, furry, femboy, just like a generally very queer community in some circles, I should say, because I mean, there's a huge variety of, you know, people who do coding. But
what I was gonna say, though,
the
I wonder-
stereotype on the internet.
Yeah. What I was gonna say though is I wonder if they had waited like say 5 years and into when like World of Warcraft was kind of taking over the world, and like people were starting to accept that you could play as a different gendered avatar than yourself in a virtual world, I wonder if that would have maybe gone differently.
Well, it was probably not, because if again the Wikipedia page is to be believed, it was the Warner Brothers execs that kind of shot that idea down of having Switch be trans.
But maybe if the Warner Brothers knew a bit more about like gaming culture and stuff.
Maybe.
After I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I've had people I've seen online discourse that tries to couch it as this is exclusively about the trans journey. And I don't think that holds true. I think there's the political awakening, or the political consciousness awakening is, I think, the main thing. But there's lots of like little flavors within that journey.
Oh yeah.
That definitely are very trans coded.
Yeah. Well, I mean, very obviously, along that very journey, both of the sisters discovered, you know, them actual selves. That was horrible grammar, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that
it's part of the grander, like, this is how we free ourselves narrative of like, be honest to yourself.
Well,
and you can then
gender identity is in general a very important part of the process of freeing yourself. Whether that's
integral to your liberation.
Whether that's realizing that your gender matches who you actually are or not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is a step in the process.
When I wanted to add that Lana and Lily, neither of them at the time recognized it as such, and they only realized that it, like, they both acknowledged that it is a trans allegory after the fact, because they were like, we didn't even realize how much the back of our minds was playing into this. Into our straight consciousness.
Which is like, it's not that this needed proving, because it's been proven over and over and over again and like scientifically studied as a real thing, but it is, to me, just one more piece of evidence in the proof that like obviously being trans is real, because the themes are so obvious in this. And like just because again, this movie is not super subtle with its commentary.
No.
So like these things really stand out as like, yeah, that's definitely something that like I've heard trans people talk about being part of the experience of going through gender dysphoria.
Having something in the back of your head since you were basically born that you know is just wrong and fractured.
Yeah.
And just that you know something has been troubling you for so long.
Like a splinter in the mind, I think is what Morpheus
exactly
says.
that was what that was the line I was trying to call back to. Yeah.
Which that whole scene, by the way, is fucking incredible. That monologue is amazing. The way it's shot, the cinematography, the shot of the red pill and the blue pill is some of the best filmmaking I've ever seen, period.
of the notes I had was I miss when movies had cinematography like framing Neo in
For
Morpheus's
real.
glasses with the pills.
This might be the only movie that has real cinematography in it. Honestly, it's so good.
We need to
It's
verify
so
if other
good.
movies have cinematography.
Yeah, for real. Because like it's so good in this.
It's been so devoid in the last 20 years of
I mean,
filmmaking.
that's really what it is. I mean, we can watch these old movies and think, God, what happened? Or, this is the only movie with this. But that's coming from a place of we're in a desert. We're in a desert of good cinematography.
We're in a desert.
We've had nonstop Marvel movies.
Oh my fucking Lord. All right, what were we talking about?
We were talking about it being a trans allegory, and that's only part of the story.
Yeah. I mean, but it is definitely a part. It's a very obvious part that
it's an integral part of the story. But I think it's important.
Watching it in 2026, it's very visible, but it's not the only part. It's not the only thing they're talking about in this movie, for sure.
I think this movie is just at its core about liberation, and so like.
Yeah,
finding your true self and like learning the truth of the world you live in, despite how ugly it is and how hard it is to grapple with that is just
and then awakening into your ability to change the world.
I think Neo's journey as well, which again, ignoring my big gripe that I can complain about when we actually get there naturally over the course of the discussion. Neo's journey ultimately, it's not just about like discovering who you are, but then choosing yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because
the whole struggles with the choice right at the beginning too.
Yeah, because the whole prophecy.
Yeah,
and the whole prophecy. It waits until all the pieces are lined up before he truly is the one.
Yeah, there's also.
I did write a kind of funny note during the Oracle scene where I said. Is the Oracle Matt Groening's character?
I don't get that reference, but I assume it's funny.
Yeah. Matt Groening wrote The Simpsons and has predicted a shitload of social events in the last.
See,
20
now
years.
this is the other thing. I think the other people would probably watch this movie now. This is kind of missing the forest for the trees as well, where like people would watch this movie now and think, oh man, this is such a prediction of like what's going to happen to our society. And it's like, no, it isn't. This is what it was like 1999. This is what it was like 1980. This is what it was like. This is what it's always been like. Not that I'm not trying to challenge what you're saying, but that's like, it just fed
I just wrote the joke.
Yeah. No, I think
but it's the same thing where like people are like, oh man, Simpsons predicted this. And it's like, no, those were still problems when he was writing The Simpsons.
Yep.
We were living in the same society.
What I think the cooler bits of the Oracle scene is how they integrate computer handshake terminology and like network terminology, but within the actual scene. So Neo eats a cookie. He's literally downloading cookies.
That's pretty good.
From the Oracle's program.
Sure.
And stuff like that. Like that I thought is cool. And then the Oracle obviously knowing the vase was going to break before. I always have, ever since I was a kid, I was taken in by that fact, how the Oracle was.
Yeah.
Would you have broken it if I hadn't told you about it first?
Exactly.
See, the Oracle is like interesting because I don't really get where the Oracle fits thematically into the overarching message. Like I don't know who the Oracle is or what their deal is. Why can they see the future? How does this relate to like the overall message about we're living in an artificially crafted society? Both, the Matrix and us in the real world are living in an artificially crafted society that we were just born into. So that whole monologue, is it the same one where Agent Smith takes Neo in, he's arrested him or whatever, and he's like interrogating him? Is that the same scene where he mentions... No, because it's later when they get him out of the Matrix that they talk about how it's an artificially crafted society that they were like born into.
Yeah. You haven't used your eyes.
You haven't used your eyes. Yeah, exactly. There's another scene where Agent Smith is just like, first of all, there's that scene where Neo is literally told to go out on a ledge, which I thought that was my first hint that like, oh, this movie's not going to be subtle at all in any way.
No, yeah.
He literally has to go out on a ledge and make a leap of faith in order to like follow Morpheus's instructions, and ultimately he doesn't, and he gets arrested by Agent Smith and interrogated. And it's that scene where he's talking to him, and he says that Neo has two lives, one as Neo, one as Thomas Anderson, and that one of those lives has a future and the other does not. First of all, Hugo Weaving. First of all, everybody brought it. Keanu Reeves was very excellent.
Oh yeah. Carrie-Ann Moss launched her career off of this movie.
Lawrence Fishburne was fucking iconic and had like so much gravitas, as always. But like, it was a very different Lawrence Fishburne than I've seen in a long time.
I did say you don't hire Lawrence Fishburne for subtlety.
I mean, true, but like, he is so fucking good.
Oh, he's fantastic. And, but like, that was the note I had.
As is Hugo Weaving, which like again is not in any way surprising to anyone ever.
Hugo Weaving, he paid his goddamn bills on this movie.
Yeah, it's so freaking good in this film.
Oh yeah.
One of these lives has a future. And
I'm constantly going back to the humanity as a virus monologue.
Yeah, that is such a good monologue. There's so many good monologues in this movie. And it's so
there's a take I've heard online before that I just kind of kept in the back of my head watching this that made the scene where Smith was like, I fucking hate it here, really kind of make me think.
This place.
Because there's discourse I've seen where some people think that Smith is actually the one to like.
Yeah, I was reading that yesterday. The Smith is actually the one theory, which
so like,
I haven't actually watched the third Matrix movie ever.
Yes, so I can't really say yet.
Yeah.
But I'm intrigued by the idea because it seems as though if there's going to be a corruptible robot, so it were. Or a corruptible program, it might be him.
Well, he is an exile program in the second movie. He's subject to deletion, but he won't go home, and he won't let himself be deleted. So he's off the grid basically.
Now I want to say that I think it's worth, and it's not just because this is my perspective, having not seen the other two Matrix films.
Yeah,
but
fair.
also because when it was written, it was only one movie. I think it's worth watching this with the lens that this is a standalone piece.
Yeah.
Not just because I've heard that the other movies are not great.
Trash.
But also because I just think that is kind of how it was written and intended to be. Because anything past this, I think loses... I don't know because I haven't seen them, but I get the feeling we lose a lot of the thematic edge and we just kind of dip into... what all sequels do, which is escalation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have seen 2, and I have seen the reboot Resurrections.
Fascinating.
Incredibly fascinating. They both suck.
Okay.
So
yeah,
there's no worries about not watching.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on it.
Yeah.
To be fair, the second newest one just because the things that I've heard about it are so weird.
I thought
wild. There might be some like thematic ground to tread there, but
maybe I just wasn't smart enough to get it. I don't know.
I doubt that's true. You're a smart guy. You would have gotten it. You would have gotten it.
That's just me being modest. I don't think, but like, to be fair, the second one's actually kind of enjoyable.
Okay, but I've heard people like the second one, but I haven't heard anyone that likes the third.
Everybody I know hates the third one.
Oh, Joey Pantoliano. Cypher also
really
good. I mean, I think thematically there was kind of a misstep with this character because once we learn that he wants to go back to the Matrix, he just kind of becomes like this very arch, almost cartoonish bad guy.
Yeah.
And I think it might have been more interesting to explore him as a sympathetic character,
a dissenting voice
who just is so scared about the possibility of losing this war against the machines, and that's why he wants to go back, rather than he's actually just a creep who sucks. Yeah, is kind of the conclusion.
Well, he's a creep who sucks, but it's also like Well, he's a creep who sucks, but it's also about complacency.
Well, yeah, because when you look at the overarching theme, sorry not to cut you off, but I did have a thought I wanted to finish on that.
Go ahead.
When you look at the overarching theme, which is about recognizing that this capitalistic society is the thing that's artificially created, and that it's bad, you have people who become aware of that fact and then choose choose to continue to participate. And I think
Yes.
the point is to do that, is to make this character who does that in this film. He is awakened to the reality of the world and then chooses to forget and go back. I do think it makes sense to also just like say, this guy fucking sucks.
So
and is bad.
I think my notes on that reduced this guy. It's reductive because it was just one note, but the sentiment behind it when I wrote it is very much the same thing that you're saying. There's a deeper character to explore with about the fears of the fears of liberation. But I did just write liberal steak bitch.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, because I don't know. There's like when I'm trying to like argue for certain thematic things, I have two allegiances. I have my own political consciousness that how I feel strongly about the world we live in. And then there's also the part of me that's like, what would have been a more interesting narrative? And I think narratively it would have been more interesting to have Cypher be somewhat sympathetic. But as someone who has political consciousness, I think the right thing to do is to just make him a creep and a dickhead.
The right thing to do is what they did.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
But
I
narratively,
think there's a space for narratives that explore the struggle, like because there are going to be people who need that, like that sort of. They need to see that in order for themselves to kind of grapple with it. Like, you're not going to get every dickhead with the same shit that gets us. So we there is probably, I do think there needs to be some narratives where characters like Cypher are explored.
Well, see, it's exactly like Morpheus says, where you can't does he say you can't show or you can't tell somebody? They have to experience it for themselves.
Yeah.
When you're like revealing the nature of the Matrix.
Yeah, you're right.
They have to be basically halfway there themselves.
Yeah.
And even then they have to still
just
come
like
to
generally
the
you can't
themselves.
tell somebody to achieve political consciousness. They have to achieve it for themselves. I don't think necessarily they have to be halfway there. I mean, everybody is on a journey of political consciousness. It's just a matter of like, I don't know, I guess getting pointed in the right direction.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Jameson, do you want to go back to the thought I cut you off on? Sorry, I just cut you off on a thought.
No, you basically like finished it.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Go ahead with what you were going to say.
I was just going to say, I'm surprised no one brought up the fact that Smith calls, in the steak scene, Smith calls Cypher Mr. Reagan.
Dude, I was like, when that happened, I was like, Ronald Reagan?
And literally, like, that's everybody on the internet is like, that's a Ronald Reagan.
That's so hilarious. Sure, except I don't think Ronald Reagan ever achieved political consciousness.
No, exactly. I mean, it's more just a funny little nod.
Very, very funny. Let's make him the biggest dickhead in this movie, even more so than the agents. Let's name him Mr. Reagan. Very funny.
Which is deeply, deeply funny.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Marcus Chong, also great as Tank.
Oh yeah, Tank really was always like my favorite character as a kid.
Really good, because you sometimes get in these movies, whatever, you've got two characters that know each other very well. In this case, Tank and Dozer are brothers. And then one of them gets killed, and the other one, oftentimes you see there's not like a requisite emotional response, either because there isn't time or just, that wasn't the direction the actor was given. The raw
fury of
you can feel
Tank
Tank's
holding
hurt.
Yeah, no, and believe it or not, you son of a bitch, you're still gonna burn.
Yeah, and not just in that scene, but in the rest of the movie, you can tell that he's like struggling to hold himself together, and that's like a huge credit to the actor, because that was like, that's something you can't communicate with dialogue. He just like did a really good job performing that way.
I think going back to also when Neo just starts to, when Neo is woken up and just starts to become familiar with the people on the Nebuchadnezzar, Tank he's holding in his excitement because he doesn't want to yell in that scene, but he's so excited about the times that are coming because he also fully believes in Morpheus's crusade to find the one, and he believes that Neo is the one.
He says something like, "I knew it," when Neo does finally become the one.
Yeah, well, and he calls him he's like a machine, just going when he's learning all the martial arts and skills that he has to learn.
Yeah,
but he's also just such a 10 hours straight. He's a machine. And I love him going. He's like, I'm supposed to teach you the basic skills first, but I think that's some major boring shit.
He's just such a very good character and a very expressive actor to play him. It just worked out really well. Tank is such a likable character.
Yes,
I love Tank.
Yeah, Tank is awesome.
Really sad how they shafted him in the sequels.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is the only movie, and
this is the only movie.
It ends on a hope. I don't know. Anyway,
I wish Dozer had a little bit more screen
if
time.
He only really
he really only has that line about its amino acids and about the food.
Yeah,
but
we're definitely not given enough time to really get to know Hank or Dozer. I mean, before they kill him.
Yeah,
sure.
Which is why it's great that Marcus Chong brings that visceral emotion when Dozer dies.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, it makes up for that lost screen time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this was not necessarily a negative note about the writing, but I did want to mention the writing in the first, let's say, third of the film is done in such a specifically vague way, just to keep the audience in the dark about what's happening without necessarily taking into account what the characters would realistically be communicating to each other. That's not a negative thing, because you have to, when you're making a piece of art like this, and this is something I've complained about, I think, in every Star Wars episode. This is something Reddit gets wrong all the time. Realism is not the most important thing.
Yeah.
But having narrative tension that the audience can engage with, like not knowing what's going on, but knowing that something is going on, is sometimes more important than having characters communicate 100% perfectly.
Yeah.
Or 100% realistically, which also is not the same thing.
I think given that point about how the first act is written kind of to serve the audience in that
to keep the audience in the dark,
that haze of unawareness, I think it does a really effective build up with the first scene immediately cluing you into that some people can screw with the rules of this world, whatever.
It almost makes you think that this is going to be like a superhero type thing,
with
rather than
the
computer
rooftop
simulation.
jumping, and all that, and then it immediately brings you into this dreamlike state where Neo goes back to work. He first meets Trinity. She tells him shit, but we don't get what she's saying really.
Yeah,
he obviously does because he's been researching the Matrix, but we don't know. He goes back to work, he gets arrested, and then wakes up as if all that was a bad dream.
Yeah.
But the bug that they put in him was still real,
yes.
Right? Which gives you it Jeepers Creepers it's a really effective build-up right all into Morpheus just dropping it all.
Yeah,
this world is not real. This world.
Yeah, it's ever so thinly justified by that same line where he says, "You can't tell people how it is; they have to see it for themselves. They have to experience it for themselves."
And
I think that's a pretty
literally
thin justification for how the writing is in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's thin, but it is also calling out to the fact that they have to
because
introduce this to the audience.
Yeah,
and again, make sure the audience is aware that
it maintains a narrative tension. So again, it is fine, even if when you take a step back and you're like, why aren't these people just telling him it's a computer simulation and he needs to break free? Why are they being all vague about it? It's fine. It's because we have to make a whole movie.
It's because we have to make 2 hours and 15 minutes.
A whole slightly too long movie, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's slightly too long movie.
A little bit too long.
I think, 10 minutes maybe could be gone.
Maybe 10 or 20 minutes. Probably didn't need in this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Sci-fi, not the best medium for political social commentary. I think I've gone over that. I'm sure we'll watch more sci-fi, and I'll bring up again how that specific thing is also
that will always be a lens with which to watch sci-fi for us.
Just complete random fucking circumstance as well, because this came out in 1999, right before the whole Y2K thing, where computer phobia was at its peak. So I can absolutely understand how I'm sure many people went to this movie and didn't realize that it was talking about capitalism, but thought it was talking about the concept of letting computers control our lives, because that was something people were very worried about at the time. So I can even understand how they would misinterpret that part based on just what was going on at the time.
Yeah. I mean, based on what's going on now, I can understand misinterpreting
I know.
it.
Well, I have a note in here that like the boys are going to want to talk about AI, but I need to be firm that this movie is not a cautionary tale. It's not a, if we're not careful, this will happen. No, we're in it right now. We're in the Matrix. We've been born into the Matrix. Our parents were born into the Matrix.
Yeah, no, like it's I don't know. It registered to me this time as like not a cautionary tale about AI, but like they knew we were already in it. Like,
yeah, it's not about AI. Just because they say the words AI, that doesn't mean that this movie is about the dangers of letting AI control our society. That's not what it's about. It read to
me as like AI is a symptom of what's of the bigger issue.
I don't think AI, as we understand it now in 2026, has anything to do with any thematic thread in this film. I think overall the idea is that the Matrix is capitalism, and in general the concept is that we have people who are machine-like. It's not saying, we will eventually create a society where machines rule us. It's saying the people we have now in charge of our society are already behaving like machines, where people are just numbers. People are batteries that you use up and throw away. True. That's already how the people in 1999 and even way before then, that's already how the people in charge were treating human beings.
True.
But I do think, I mean, that's not to say that that's not an interesting take on the film, is to look at it as like,
well, I'm kind of seeing it as like, because AI now is itself also just a reflection of capitalism. Like all that it's being used to do is destroy the planet and artwork and people's lives.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Like, I kind of think it was not necessarily an intentional thing, but it's one of those things where by thinking about how might they do it, they got it right on accident.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, they're not saying, AI is going to happen. They're like, how are they going to keep controlling our lives? You know, what would be an interesting way to put that in our science fiction story?
Yeah.
Make all the robots do our thinking and shit for us. And then, you know,
so that's what I think. That's what I think Frank Herbert has his mind on when he was writing Dune. But again, exactly. I don't think that was the thought process at all for The Matrix. It wasn't the thought process was never what could happen. It was what's happening right now, but how can we make it an allegory? How can we make it a metaphor? Well, the people we have in charge now don't care about human lives. That's machine-like. Let's make the bad guys machines to get our point across.
And then they still got that part right on accident.
Yeah, completely on accident. It wasn't even their intention to forecast. It just was
their allegory was accidentally also real.
Yeah. Okay, on a little bit of
it was just salient then, and it's still salient now.
Yeah, that's a lot of my like complaints about when people talk about sci-fi prophecy, and it's like, it's not really prophecy. It's the world they were living in, and it's still the world we continue to live in. Yeah, it's continuity. It's not prophecy. Okay, on a little bit of a lighter note, I had a funny thought that technically this movie and again, without seeing the other ones, this movie and The Terminator could be in the same universe if we stretch our imaginations a little bit.
Yeah.
You could consider that, you know, if these machines in Matrix, this could be the original timeline, is kind of my thought. Where the reason the machines go back in time is to kill the first one before Neo. And that's who John Connor is. That was just a random thought I had. That was like, that's kind of a fun thought experiment.
Definitely could buy that.
That is kind of an interesting hypothetical.
Like, this could be the original timeline that Skynet goes back in time to try and, quote, fix, unquote, by killing the one, John Connor. Just a flight of fancy, but I thought it was kind of fun.
Very well could be, though.
I'm just sitting on the fucking carpet making my action figures fight with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's play with him in his space.
Yeah. Play with me. Play with me. I don't want to play with you anymore. Oh, brother. Okay. Well, we're getting near an hour, and I don't think there's that much to cut out. So should we get into why this movie fucked up right at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Trinity and Neo romance. sucks. It's bad. They have no on-screen chemistry for the whole film.
Well, it doesn't make sense. I also kind of wrote the note that like I've never seen Keanu do an on-screen romance that like convinces me, so that might be part of the problem.
Yeah, could be for sure.
Yeah.
I love him, but I've never seen him play a romance.
My issue is if they had established at any point thematically that love was an important part of the process of self-liberation, that learning to love yourself and learning to love other people and falling in love and romantic love in general is in some way an important part of it, which it is for some people, absolutely. I would be more okay with it despite their complete lack of romantic chemistry on screen. However, it comes out of fucking nowhere and also is the crux of his transformation into the One. He gets shot and killed and comes back to life because Trinity said, I love you. And it's like,
Trinity
there's
tells
no
someone
thematic
else,
establishment.
Trinity tells someone else earlier in the movie that the person she would fall in love with was the One.
Who? When?
I'm trying to remember who.
You watch
I
an
think it
extended
was.
cut?
I think it.
I
no,
did
I
not
watched
watch the extended cut. I watched the basic version that you get on Amazon.
I watched the one on Peacock.
Okay, which in theory is the same version because it gave me the option to get a Peacock subscription instead. I don't recall her bringing. Well, again, I don't think that's true because she's treating that as a secret. She reveals that the Oracle told her something, but it's not until that moment that she reveals what it is the Oracle told her.
Oh, you could be right.
I think I am.
I could have sworn she pretty much laid it out to someone else that the person she would fall in love with.
I don't remember that happening.
Whether or not she truly believes in like Morpheus's quest for the One. And
Yeah,
that, the
that
one
comes
exists,
up.
but it doesn't really talk about her personal feelings like towards Neo
the One or towards Neo. Yeah,
it's more just like, do you believe in the cause? Like,
yeah. And like again,
and ultimately yes, and then she reveals, and then she pulls out of her ass, oh, and I'm in love with the One, and that's Neo.
Which again, also based on like what we've seen of these characters on screen, doesn't make any fucking sense. They've known each other for like a couple days. Yeah. That's like not, maybe, I don't know, man, whatever. That's not, in my understanding, that's not how that works usually.
It feels like there's missing footage if they want that to work.
There's no thematic link there as well. To have that be the crux of the film, the big climactic moment, I feel like they should have established at some point thematically the importance of love in the journey of self-liberation. Yeah. Well, and they simply don't do that. Because because it's not about that. It's about fucking political commentary and political awakening. But whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. To my credit, I was gonna say even if she had told someone else her prophecy beforehand, I was gonna say it turns it into this annoying single puzzle piece that basically fits in when she kisses him and turns him into the One.
Yeah, this to me is almost the quintessential example of shoehorning in a romance.
Yeah.
A romance subplot. It like does not, the rest of it does not compute. It was a gut reaction when that scene was playing out. I was like, boo, this fucking sucks, dude. And don't get me wrong, I love a well-written romance. I love it. I specifically read that kind of stuff because I really like a well-written romance. And I think you can have a romance subplot in something without it being the focus. Like you don't have to read a romance novel to get a well-written romance. You can have a good romance in an action novel or in an action movie if it's like well written.
Once again, we point to Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, I think there are times where it's very awkward, but I mean, young love often is.
Well, they are supposed to be 12.
And they are 12, and also it's a show for 12-year-olds. So I mean, yeah, that absolutely can be forgiven. But
I think
again, we establish in episode 1 that Aang has a crush on Katara. I was thinking about Yang from fucking Ruby, I guess. Man, what a different fucking show that would have been, huh?
Oh my god.
That's a fun thought experiment.
Yeah.
No, but it feels more natural in Avatar: The Last Airbender because it's established very early and then repeatedly throughout. the importance not only
every
of
few episodes they have a moment where they're connecting in that way where it could lead to something.
Yeah. And it's like, not only are we hinting at the possibility of a relationship, we then establish thematically why romantic love is an important thing to nurture for these characters specifically. Anyway, so my final note, and I think genuinely it makes it a worse movie, that is the big climactic crux of Neo's journey is crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it was mishandled, and I think generally it's just poor writing. Sorry, Wachowski Sisters. I think the rest of your shit that you were doing in this movie was really fucking excellent. But I think you fumbled the bag on that one.
Now, it may be controversial to say, but in my experience, people on journeys of self-discovery like that do not have the best romantic sense about them all the time. So,
yeah.
It does make complete sense that they didn't even think about it till the end.
Well, and that's kind of just like how movies are, is there's like, which, I mean, I'm not saying that this was a studio interference thing, but I also, if somebody said that to me, I also wouldn't be surprised, because that's very exec brained, is the thought that, oh, we have to have a romance subplot, because how else are we going to get girls in the theater? Oh, there's too much action in this movie. We have to have the main characters kiss at the end, otherwise girls won't like it. And it's like, first of all, that's sexist as fuck. There are many women who like action just as much as boys, and there are many boys who don't like action.
Yeah, girls wrote it, dude. Come on.
True. But to be fair, the Warner execs didn't know that at the time.
True.
Probably still don't.
They probably still very much don't.
Don't.
Yeah. They hear the Wachowski sisters and they're like, huh, are they related to the Wachowski brothers? And
did they know the other dudes?
Oh, brother. So, I'm not saying that it was studio interference. It very well could have been the Wachowskis thinking they were putting a nice bow on things. Either way, I think it's bad writing to have that be the big finale.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And otherwise, this movie was very, very excellent.
Yeah.
I really, really liked it, which was not always my opinion of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I watched it at 14, and I just thought it was really funny when he said Jeepers Creepers. So I think I missed Forest for the Trees.
It is a really great movie. There are also some incredibly comedic moments on accident.
Yeah.
But like,
I know Kung Fu. First of all, that part rules. Listen, it is funny. Listen to me. It is funny, but it also fucking rules, and I love it.
It was so awesome. I watched it. I was watching it last night. I sent a picture.
I did see that.
To you guys, because I'm like, I died laughing at like 2:30 a.m. when I was watching it.
So
and he just opens his eyes and goes, I know Kung Fu.
Which,
I'm like, this is how my vocals stem.
To your point. Yeah, I know. It's one of the best. Any final notes that we missed? Any wrap-up thoughts?
I do want, actually, there is one thing I wanted to mention more at the beginning, but I do think they maybe had a little bit of an idea about intelligent machines, because they made a reference to I have no mouth and I must scream.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the first 20 minutes.
With
the no mouth, and he's trying to scream. Like it literally.
With the no mouth, and he's trying to
I will say there are I mean, my take is certainly not the take that there's no cautionary tale angle to this is just one take. There's absolutely different ways you could view it, and I'm sure. And here's the other thing: when you're making a piece of art like this, stuff doesn't only have to mean one thing. It doesn't have to be one way. So there's absolutely room for them to have been making a point about machine intelligence, for sure.
Well, I think it's a part about machine intelligence, and they're also kind of hitting a through line in I have no mouth and I must scream, that is, we built this machine, we can stop it.
Yeah. Which also applies to capitalism.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because things don't have to just mean one thing. Absolutely.
So I think it's a very brilliant reference to have made. I think that it peppers in something for people to think about and puts them in the right direction.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. There are so many references to other media in this film. It really lends credence to, like, when you're a creative, you just fake it till you make it kind of thing, where it's not copying per se, but like you become inspired by the other art that you have experienced in your life, and there's nothing wrong with emulating that until you find your own style. Because there's lots of like, down to like, there's a specific stunt where Trinity dives through a window and tumbles down the stairs. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it came up on the X-ray that was a reference to a different stunt that was done in another movie. And it's like,
Equilibrium?
Might have been. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it said. Let me see if it pops up on trivia. But
well, in the meantime,
it had a list of other things that were references to other movies that were in this film. And it's like, well, that's really fascinating because people think of this film as a masterpiece, and it is, but it's also an amalgamation of references to other films and other media that the Wachowskis enjoyed.
It's a reminder that to be creative, you're still internalizing your creative inspirations, and you're still putting them within your work, whether consciously or unconsciously.
Very
that's
true.
because that's what influences are.
Yeah, and that it's okay for it to be consciously. It's okay to consciously emulate things that you like.
Yeah. Well, and
Listen, I'm trying to self-liberate into a creative. So these are important messages that when I notice them, I'd like to point them out and try to internalize them.
Hell yeah.
So if you're obviously, it's like, well, then that wasn't fucking for you. That one was for me. If you thought, obviously,
this one's for me,
that means it was for me.
This one's just for me.
Before we head out, I just wanted to call back to some of the cool shots and some of the like moments, and just kind of have some slight discussion on each of them.
Absolutely worth it.
And I think we might as well just kind of take it in order.
Yeah.
So basically, from what we haven't started talking about so far, I want to talk a little bit about the Morpheus and Neo fight, where Morpheus. I mean, like, it's a very cool wire. That
scene is
fight.
The most 2000s shit I've ever seen in my life. By the way, yeah. I know it came out in 1999, but it was so 2000s. It was insane to watch.
Oh yeah, but then just like Morpheus constantly spelling out that like Neo has to self-actualize into himself. He can't believe. He has to know. And like, do you think that is air you're breathing?
Yeah.
And then just like I love how he darts his eyes right after he says that, like in a very suspicious way.
That's also such a good like line though, because it's like I mean, ignoring the broader thematic and narrative stuff, like they are in a computer simulation, and Neo is behaving as if the rules apply, and the point is that he shouldn't be doing that because it's holding him back.
Yeah, he has to know that he can break them.
Oh, you don't have to breathe heavily. There's not air in here. You're not actually moving.
You're not exercising. It is a really fascinating moment.
And then when somebody like gets hurt and starts bleeding, or no, it's Neo himself. He comes out and he's bleeding.
Yeah.
And he's like, your mind made it real.
If you die in the Matrix,
good stuff.
You die here.
You die in the game, you die for real.
If you die in the I did write down, if you die in the game, you die in real life.
Bro, same brain. I literally said it out loud.
It is as it always was. If
gamers.
You die in the game, you die in real life.
Awesome. It's a great note. As it ever was.
As it ever was. And then I wanted to touch on the lobby shootout for a sec. Because as a kid, I always just internalized the cool action scenes.
Yeah.
And I always loved the guard going like, do you have any metal objects on your person? And then he just like opens the coat and shows like 20 different guns. And the guard's like, holy shit. And just like kicks off a cool, I always loved the use of slow motion. And you can tell video games took a lot of inspiration from the way they do like particle effects.
Yes,
all the slow motion squibs and the fire effects and the water dripping down when they're interrogating, when they're like shooting the minigun into the interrogation room.
It would be really interesting to know. I'm sure this information's available, but I have no desire to like dig through records to find it. It would be interesting to know how much overlap there is between certainly in those days, I doubt it happened. It probably does happen actually a lot today. But like the overlap between visual effects departments for film studios and for game studios, that would be really fascinating information to have.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of stuff that's like
I know of one case. I know of one case, and that's the people who do Love, Death, and Robots cut their teeth on like. Actually, no. This is a funny little connection because they cut their teeth working with Shiny Entertainment, who made the original Matrix games.
Mm. Okay.
So it's just a fun little connection that I remembered.
That is cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, the Love, Death, and Robots guys are one example of that I do know of.
Russell Crowe turned down the role of Morpheus. He said, "I just didn't get it. I couldn't get past page 42. That world was just not interesting to me."
I did want to give Will Smith a little bit of a credit
what
for
a different fucking movie that would have been. Huh?
No, different movie. I wanted to give him credit for respecting that he would have probably fucked it up.
He said he was not mature enough as an actor or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I would argue he's not mature enough as an actor now.
Still, yeah.
He still couldn't pull it off.
There was a lot of people that were like that turned down Neo.
Yeah,
and
Ian
Morpheus
McGregor,
roles.
Nicolas Cage. Here's the thing. I think the current version, the real version of The Matrix is very, very good, and I love it, and it's a great movie. Man, do I want to see the fucking Nick Cage cut. Holy shit, do I want to see that so bad. I know. Kung Fu?
And then the last shot I did want to touch on was when Trinity jumps out of the helicopter and the helicopter smashes into the building and it literally ripples out.
Well,
yeah, that was cool.
So I think that was a bullet time thing and not necessarily meant to show that they were in a digital world, because that's technically what happens to material when it does do that.
I understand that's what technically happens. I posit that that's like a physics engine exaggeration video game. Yeah.
It's a very cool shot.
It's a fantastic shot, yeah.
Oh yeah, all the uses of slow-mo in the movie are pretty much iconic.
Absolutely.
The lean down to dodge all the bullets, all that.
Which, as everyone knows, but if we don't fucking mention it, somebody's going to mention it in the comments, and it would probably be me trying to make fun of us. The that shot was made with a bunch of cameras in an array. Okay.
Yep.
We mentioned it. Yeah. We got it. Jameson threw up a picture of it.
I'll throw up a picture of it.
Oh my god. We gotta head that off at the pass right now. Whenever we don't, I just want to say this going forward. Whenever we don't mention something that's like really super duper obvious, it's because we think there's nothing more worth to say about it. We're trying to find new stuff to say about things. That's what I think is a lot of what happened in Star Wars with stuff we didn't mention, is because it's like, well, everyone's talked about this.
Yeah. When there's been extensive discussion about how that array of cameras changed the game a little bit in terms of filming shots.
Oh, like I mean, definitely. Can you think of any movie that came out around that time that was anywhere close to as dynamic as that one?
Science fiction is fantastic for cinematography as an art form.
Only if the directors are interested in having cool cinematography. That is so important, because guess what? All the Marvel movies are sci-fi. They're all sci-fi.
Come back later when we discuss.
On technicality, you're right. I call them fantasy.
Yeah. This one was good. This one really fucking let me down at the end.
It lets you down at the end, but for 2 hours, it's like a really good movie.
Yeah, for 2 hours, it's a great film. Absolutely. And you know, the one big writing flaw does not ruin the rest of it for me. I'll say that.
No.
It is really good.
Yeah.
Do wish the ending were a little better, though. It's fine. All right. Hey, thanks for listening to the first episode, the first real episode of the Ape City podcast.
This is the first one outside of our Star Wars series.
Well, I'm considering that as like a special series. To me, this is episode 1 of the Ape City podcast.
Okay, cool.
So fucking get on board, idiot. Guess what? Decision's been made. Anyway, if there's something about the Matrix that, you know, you thought we missed or was worth mentioning and we didn't mention it, fucking tell us in the comments. Be really, really mean about it if you want. I mean, preferably don't, but you know, if you want to, I'm okay with it. Like and subscribe. And if you want to hear us talk more about stupid bullshit with our dumb, bad opinions. No, we're smart and we have good opinions and we talk about cool stuff like The Matrix. Join us, won't you?